Imagine for a moment that every single person on Earth, all 8 billion of US, agreed to do something absolutely ridiculous. Jump at the exact same time. No delays, no excuses, no one sitting it out. Just the entire human population leaping into the air in perfect synchronization. At first thought, it sounds like chaos, like some bizarre global flash mob. But the consequences of this stunt will be far stranger than you might expect. Let's start with the basics. The average person weighs about 60 kilograms, and if we multiply that by 8 billion people, that's nearly 480 billion kilograms of mass all leaving the ground together. That's an unimaginable amount of weight, more than all the buildings in every major city combined. When we all crouch down and spring upward, the earth beneath our feet would feel the force of all those legs pushing off the ground. For just a split second, the combined energy would be enough to shake the surface in a way similar to a small earthquake. Seismographs around the world would record the event, not as a natural tremor, but as one giant synchronized human stomp. Local buildings might rattle, windows could shake, and animals sensitive to vibrations would probably panic, convinced something catastrophic was happening. Now, here's the funny part. When we all left the ground, nothing much would happen to the planet itself. You see, compared to the mass of Earth, all of humanity together is basically nothing, like a fleet trying to move an elephant. The Earth weighs about 6 trillion kilograms, so even 480 billion kilograms jumping at once is like tossing a pebble at a mountain. The planet wouldn't budge in its orbit, and we wouldn't suddenly knock Earth off its path around the sun. Gravity would pull us back down almost immediately. The real fun begins when we land. Because here's the twist. All those billions of bodies crashing back onto the ground at the same time would create a global shockwave. The vibrations would be much stronger than the ones when we jumped, more like a medium-sized earthquake rippling across continents. Depending on where people were gathered, stadiums could shake violently, poorly built structures might crack, and bridges or highways could be damaged by the sudden synchronized impact. Imagine the sound, too. Billions of feet slamming into the earth at once, a deafening boom echoing across the land like thunder rolling around the planet. Birds would scatter in panic, dogs would howl, and car alarms might go off in every major city. But even though it sounds dramatic, the world wouldn't break apart. Skyscrapers are built to handle wind and small tremors, and Earth itself has endured much larger quakes caused by tectonic activity. Still, localized damage could be significant. If everyone jumped in one place, say we managed to teleport every human to one giant flat field, the impact would be devastating. The combined force could flatten the ground, destroy the soil beneath us, and cause the land to sink slightly. It would be like a meteor strike made not of rock, but of people. Of course, gathering the whole population in one spot is impossible, so the real event would be spread out across cities, villages, mountains, and deserts. That means the energy would also be spread out, making the actual consequences less catastrophic and more chaotic in small, scattered bursts. There are also strange side effects to think about. If we all jumped at the same time, the air would be pushed in a sudden rush, creating something like a worldwide gust of wind. Billions of bodies displacing air simultaneously might even create tiny localized shockwaves, rattling trees and kicking up dust clouds. Some scientists have even joked that if we timed the jump perfectly, we might nudge the Earth's rotation by a fraction of a second, though the effect would be so small it wouldn't change our day in any noticeable way. But the most fascinating part of this thought experiment isn't the physics, it's the unity. Think about it. Never in human history has every single person done the same thing at the same time. Wars, borders, languages, disagreements, all set aside for one absurdly pointless mission, jumping together. For just one moment, the entire species would act as one giant organism. The psychological and cultural impact of that would probably outlast the physical tremors. People would tell their children about the day the whole world jumped. Social media would explode with videos, memes, and shaky recordings of the global stomp. News outlets would debate whether it was dangerous, governments would argue about planning, and scientists would spend years analyzing the seismic data. Maybe in the end, the actual effect on the Earth would be small, but the effect on us as humans could be huge. It would be proof that we really can coordinate as a species if we want to, even if it's just to pull off a silly stunt. And maybe, just maybe, that shared experience would remind us of how connected we really are, how much power we hold when we act together, and how small we all are compared to the massive, unshakable planet beneath our feet. So, what if every human jumped at the same time? The Earth wouldn't fly off into space, cities wouldn't collapse into rubble, and we wouldn't knock the planet off its orbit. But for one incredible second, humanity would shake the ground together, a thunderous reminder of our unity, our absurdity, and our place in the universe. A global jump might not change the Earth forever, but it would change the way we see ourselves, and that, in the end, might be even more powerful.